So this is about creating secondary index. So we'll see what is happening here. So in the primary index, we know that we had our primary index as USN because this was unique, right? But secondary index we consider here in our case as the name of the student. So we know that this is not unique, and when we search something based on the secondary key, we get multiple entries as the output because there can be so many people with the same name. Now how are we going to maintain this secondary key? So we have something called as a record.txt. This is the file where we enter all the records, and the moment we start the secondary key index program, what happens is we are going to build the index. Now what we're going to do, so this is on the hard disk, we know. Now when we run the program, we're going to build this on the primary memory. So that is our array. Now this is array of structure objects. Now what will this contain? This will contain, every entry will contain the USN, the name, and then the address. So what is this address? This address is the starting address of the particular record in the file. So this initial, we all know that the starting address of the first record is always 0. So say for example I have USN as 1JT 15IS 001 and name as Vadiraj, and then address would be 0. So next time I want to search somebody with name Vadiraja, then I know where to go. I know where to go, right? I know, yeah, I'm supposed to go to address 0 in the file, and I'll fetch that line and print it out. So as I told you, this is the first entry in the secondary index that we're going to build. So there can be as many number of such students. So possibly the fourth student also has the same name. His USN is of course different, 1JT 15 IS 008 or something, but his name is Vadiraja again. So, and then address of that guy in the file would be somewhere here, possibly 50, right? So in our case, in the index, we have address as 50. So next time when we search somebody with the name Vadiraja, so we're going to have two outputs, right? One with the USN 001, the other one with the USN 008. So what should our program do? Our program should either display all the entries, that is both the entries, or display the USN and possibly ask which USN you want to display or delete or whatever, and then take the action accordingly. Right? So this is how we're going to maintain the secondary index. That's why this is called a secondary index. This whole index is built on the secondary key, that is the name. In the secondary key, secondary index that we are going to build if we try to delete a particular entry in the secondary index. Now we saw that there will be something called as a file in which all the records are there, and we know how we are going to delete a record, right? This is something which we have already seen. So how to delete? So just search the record based on either the primary key or the secondary key, and go to that particular starting address and simply put a star mark. Now it's not just enough to delete or mark something in the record file as deleted. So this is just marking, right? This is just marking in the file as deleted. But what about the secondary index that we have built? So this is on the hard disk. We know that this is on the hard disk, but this is in the primary memory. So this is the secondary index that we have built. Now say there are around 10 different entries, and we are supposed to delete the very first entry. Now we've searched, we got it, so we know that it is there in the very first uh, entry in the index. So we want to delete this, right? So how do we delete? So the moment we mark that as deleted here in the file, so you come to the index and then shift all the other entries one step ahead. Now this, whatever was there here, got deleted, and then we are going to shift every other entry in the index one step ahead, right? So this is how we are going to maintain the secondary index after deletion. So if that is not the case, and if say we have deleted some other entry somewhere else in the index, so say for example we have deleted this, so we go till that particular entry in the secondary key and then start shifting every other entry in the index one step ahead. So we overwrite whatever was there here, and then we have deleted that particular entry. So this is exactly how we are going to maintain the secondary key after deleting. So this is called as your housekeeping, right? So you're supposed to maintain the secondary key and make sure that you're not going to have any deleted entry, at least in the secondary index that you have built. Studying the sixth lab program, that is write a C++ program to implement index on secondary key, the name for a file of student objects. And as usual, we are supposed to implement add, search, delete using the secondary key. Now in the previous program, that is lab 5, we had seen how to build a primary key using USN. Now we are supposed to also build a index for secondary key. Now the question is, why we need the secondary key index when we have the primary key index? The answer is simple: we will not know the primary key always. It's like not all the people's USN will be known before we search somebody. What if we only know the name of somebody? So there should be a way to search some the student's record using name as well. So we require some kind of a facility to search based on the primary key as well. So as usual, we have the student class, in which we have the USN, name, semester, and these two basic functionalities like enter data and pack. And we will have this secondary key index, which contains the USN, the name, and also the address, that is the starting point of the record in the file. So we will have some 100 entries in the record, and one thing we should understand is, when we search something using the secondary key, we do not get unique keys or records, because secondary key is not unique. Primary key is unique. No two students will have the same USN, but there can be a case where 2 or 3 students can have the same name. So when we find them, we are going to display all those found names of the students, and then we're going to populate that in this found student structure, and then we're going to display it. That's the reason we have this found secondary index. Unlike the primary index, where we have only one record that we find and then we display it. So we have other functions like create index, sort index, search, linear search, searching, delete, and error. Now we'll go through the main function. So the main function, like how we did in the previous program, that is fifth program, we create this record file even before we create the index. If it is not there, we're going to create it and then close it. We'll make sure that that particular file is there, and then straight away we'll call the create index. Create index, it's all very similar to the previous program. Only thing that we are going to do is, we are going to read two different keys, that is USN buffer and the name buffer. Two different fields we are going to accept, and then we are going to write it into the secondary key index. So how we like exactly how we did in the previous program, we're not going to worry about the deleted records and of that USN where we do not have any entry, that particular record where the USN buffer returns 0, and also the name, right? Otherwise we are going to increase the count and then we're going to populate them in the secondary index. Secondary index will contain the USN, the name, and the starting address of the record in the record file. So this is something which we are going to do till the end of the file, and then we're going to close the file, and then exactly after building the index we are going to sort it. Sort, as usual, we are going to use bubble sort. So temp is equal to I is equal to j, and j is equal to temp. So this is something which is going to repeat for all the three things: USN, name, and address. So this is what is going to happen when we say create index. So exactly after creating index, the menu is displayed. As usual, we can enter the data. If choice is 1, we enter the data, so we accept all the data from the user, and we open this file in the append mode, and then pack it and write it into the append it into the record.records.txt, and then close that file. Search. Here in this particular program we have the capability of searching using the name, that is a secondary key. So we accept the name of the student we searched, and then we do something called as a linear search. In the previous program we had used binary search, it's okay. In this particular program we have used linear search. It doesn't matter. Of course he has asked us to use any of the searching technique that is that we are comfortable with, so we have used linear search, and we need not go through what linear search is. All of us know we are simply iterating through the index that we have built, and if there is a match we are simply going to, now here in this case, because we are searching based on the secondary key, there can be multiple records with the same name. So what we are going to do is we are going to have something called as found array, and we are going to populate all those names, all those records with the same name. Okay, so USN, name, and address, all these strings we are going to simply populate it in the found array, and then we are going to increase the count, find count. Okay, so we will know how many such students with the same name were there. So when we search, of course we should know that this is a secondary key and we will not get unique records. We are going to get all the records with the name equal to whatever we searched. So this is what is search. And then once we call linear search, if the find count is 0, we know that the record is not found. If the find count is equal to 1, then record found, and simply go ahead and display that. If record count is greater than 1, multiple records found, and then we'll say all these were all the USNs that were found, and we can ask which of the USN are you interested in, and then based on that we can simply go to the file, fetch that record, and then particularly that particular record which the user is interested in, and then get that. Or you can modify this code to display all the records that were searched or found. Okay, so this is exactly what is going to happen in search. Now delete is the next option that we have. Press 3, we can delete. So what happens in delete is same thing again, based on the name we can delete somebody. Now here also we are again calling linear search, and if the count is 0, record not found, so we can't delete, return. If the count is 1, then record is found, and then we'll say choice is equal to 0, and then we'll come back here. If the find count is greater than 1, if we find more than one student with the same name, then we are going to display all of them, and then we're going to ask a choice which of the student you want to delete with this particular USN. So then we'll say record deleted. We'll go there and go to that particular record with that particular student with that particular USN, put a star, which means to say we have marked it for 0. Now, like how we did in the previous program, here also we are supposed to do some kind of a housekeeping for the secondary index that we have built. So we are going to shift all the records, the indexes one step ahead, and then we are going to reduce the count. So this is exactly what is happening in delete. Right, so we'll now see the demonstration of how this particular program runs. 6, that is the sixth program. So these are the menu options that we have. We can either add a record or search a record, delete a record, or exit. So on the other side, we'll see what we have. We have this record.txt. So we'll see what is there in that. There's nothing as such, so we will put a watch on that. So tail fnf record.txt. So we're going to continuously watch as how the record file grows. Now we'll try to insert few records. USN 1JT 15 IR001 Raja, and then same is 6. So we're gonna make sure whether the record got added. Yes, it has been added. We're gonna add one more record, 1JT 15 IS002, and this time we'll give the same name again, right? And then semi 6. So we'll see that there are two records with the same name. Now let's try to search. So because this is a secondary index, the index is now built. Now we can search based on the name. So Adiraja. Now we have multiple records, and we have two records found with two USNs. Now the system is asking, the program is now asking us to enter the choice as to which USN we want to display. So I'll say 0, it says USN is so and so, and then this is what it is. So we can also delete that. So into the name of the student you want to delete again, say Vadiraja. It says I found 2, which one you want to delete, so I'll say 1. Now we can see that the second record is deleted, right? So this is exactly how we maintain a secondary index. Now if we want to search again and say Raja, now we have only one record, and it doesn't say you have two records because the other one is deleted. Thank you.